What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. It's episode 30, and the lineup is kind of small. Not a whole lot going on because of the UFC not being active right now for 3 weeks or whatever. There's little news. We have Submission Underground 20 going on live right now. There is a match with Pearl Gonzalez and Jillian Robertson might be going on while we're live. And then the RIZIN 26 preview with a great, wonderful, awesome, fantastic title fight that is actually tonight, West Coast time, 9 p.m. tonight. So let's start with some news where nothing's coming up for me.
Oh no, technical difficulties on the last show of the year.
Victoria Leonardo. Who's she fighting? It's not coming up.
Manon Fiorot. You're not seeing the screen?
No, I'm going back. No. I'm going back to the lineup. Okay.
Oh.
For some reason it's not on the ticker for me. If you're here, are you seeing the ticker? Comment in the comment section, please. So Victoria Leonardo and Manon Fiorot, they're gonna fight on January 20th on Fight Island, UFC Fight Island 8.
Yeah, stepping in for Natalia Silva, giving Fiorot the opportunity in the UFC now. So Victoria Leonardo still gets an opponent, which is good to see. And then Fiorot has earned her chance and a big stage, I would say. So this is good to see. Sucks that Natalia Silva's out, but good to see that Victoria Leonardo still getting an opponent. So yeah, that was a bummer. This is one of those bittersweet pieces of news, right? Where somebody gets to come in, but then somebody else misses out. All three of these ladies were debuting potentially, and Silva's still in the UFC, so she will get her debut at some point. But wish her a speedy recovery from. I'm not sure the specifics of the injury, but yeah, Fiorot coming in here, it's 5-1. A solid prospect. Her only loss is to Leah McCourt, which was at a catch weight of 138, and then her in her debut at Cage Warriors. So she's been flawless since then, and a lot of people high on her. One of Europe's best prospects. So it's good to see her getting this chance sooner rather than later. But a tough opponent. This could have been like a fight that we saw in Invicta, but cool that it's in UFC now. It's in one of those fights that's not a knock on it or anything to say that it could have been in Invicta, but Leonardo coming from Invicta, and then Fiorot, a top female prospect. So, yeah. And good to see you, Smackalati. That he says yes. The ticker is showing up for him. So it's just you, Steve.
Yeah, ticker's up for me too. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like you said, this is a fight that you would maybe expect to see in Invicta, but it's a UFC fight, which is fine. It's fine because they're both prospects. I mean, we get to watch prospects in the UFC. That's kind of the wave that the UFC's on right now. Anyway, they're bringing in a lot of prospects, of course, from Contender Series and bringing them in from Invicta, LFA, and wherever else they can. Seems like they're going young and they're going cheap. And I'm assuming that these are young and cheap fighters. So why not put them on?
That sounds terrible when you put it that way.
Well, I mean, that's what it is, though, right? Like, I mean,
Well, Fiorot's 30. I mean, she's a prospect, definitely, but she's
a prospect.
30. I think Leonardo's probably around there too. But yeah, no, they're both definitely still prospects. There's that
Yeah.
argument. I know some people would say that there's an age limit on prospects, but like I count it as more of an experience thing, right? Like look at here's a good example. We'll be talking about Miyu Yamamoto later, but
Hmm.
she debuted at like 44 years
Hmm.
old.
Hmm.
She's not sure she has a wrestling background, but as MMA, she was a
Unfortunately.
rookie, an MMA prospect, at the time. And now she's, gone past that, of course, but I don't think it's an age thing in terms of that's not how I judge it anyway. So,
Right.
but yeah, no, your point still stands. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, no, they're prospects. This is the both of their UFC debuts. I mean,
Hmm.
they're they are prospects. Yeah, I mean, Waleed, the UFC is signing these prospects too fast. They need to give them some fights in Invicta or Contender Series at least.
Depends.
Yeah, I mean, those are that's what's coming with the 60 cuts that Dana was talking about. They're going to cut 60 people so that they can make room for more Contender Series and whoever else, from other promotions. They're they're going hard with prospects right now. I mean, look at what we've seen just in this past year. I know it was crazy times, but especially for MMA, like, or in the UFC, they went hard with the prospects. Like they gave
38
opportunities.
signings from Contender Series, I think it
Right.
was.
They gave opportunities to people who, had this pandemic not happened, maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity quite yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen kind of mixed results, I would say, but to Waleed's point, I think there are definitely some cases where people are being signed a bit too fast. With these ladies in particular, I wouldn't say so. I mean, Leonardo, we've seen her in
I don't.
Invicta
Yeah, I don't
already,
think that Leonardo is very deserving of
and then
the.
she did fight on Contender Series 2 to get the
Mhm.
contract. So,
Right.
in Fiorot's case, of course, she's coming in as a replacement fighter, but at the same time, she's been putting work in UAE Warriors in her last three fights, all
Mhm.
getting finishes via strikes. And EFC before that. Not bad stages, of course, not these ones that we're talking about in the stateside with Contender Series or Invicta, but very solid places abroad for her to be, getting her experience. And I think it was probably a matter of time with her anyway. So I don't think that applies to these two, Waleed. But yes, I do agree with you in a general sense that there have been a lot of people. We could point some out, but I don't know if I want to be specific at the moment. But there are definitely some who are, getting some chances potentially a little bit too early, and I'm sure people can draw their own conclusions there. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's, like you said, how many people were assigned? 38.
38, I believe it was. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a massive number, and just think of all the people who weren't signed. Like
yeah.
what if you got you know, fight of the year type of fights, you and Dana's only giving away one contract to the winner, essentially, because that's typically what he's doing. Um, the other person might be shit out of luck, or they can, in some cases, go back to the Contender Series.
Or Bellator would be like, you know what? They're actually pretty good. What the hell are you missing out on?
Yeah, I mean, to be
Wasn't
honest,
Vanderford on Contender Series?
um,
Or am I'm
yeah, I don't
confusing
think
him with somebody else?
Vanderford was. I don't think Vanderford was.
Yeah, somebody like that.
To be honest, I'm not.
Brendan Loughnane.
Yeah, yes, that's a big one. But PFL, I mean,
Yeah,
he was also PFL. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellator just went in and poached off of Contender Series. Like people who Dana didn't give contracts to, but they showed good fight. They put on good fights that were
why
entertaining.
not?
Why wouldn't they? Exactly. Why wouldn't they? Um, you might hit gold with one of them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's somebody I feel like I don't know if it was Vanderford, but there was somebody that I remember they picked up and they've been doing really good since then. It might I'm gonna have to look now to see if it
I don't think
if
that
it
it's
was
Benford.
him.
Benford wasn't on Contender Series, was he?
It was somebody's husband, I think, or like a partner to to somebody. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Maybe.
I just searched his name and a picture of him with Dana and the age came up. Um, where is
Oh,
it? Yeah, he was on Contender Series in 2018. I knew it. He got the rear naked choke over Angelo Trevino,
hmm. Yeah.
and they didn't
That
sign
was,
him, and now he's
that was the
killing
first
it.
year. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's doing really well in Bellator for Bellator.
Yep, guy is legit. But anyway, as for the news, good for Amanda Fiorot. Sucks for Natalia Silva, but she still has a spot with the UFC, so anticipate that debut. This should be a good fight. Leonardo versus most people is a good fight. She's one of those fighters who just always has good fights. So
Yeah.
look forward to that on Fight Island 8. That is the second card back. Yes, second card back, right? So
Yeah,
that's
that's the Wednesday
before.
card. No,
Yeah, no, I think so. Because
the Wednesday
16 is the
card.
first one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 16, 20, and then 23.
Yep.
Remember,
There you
there's
go.
3 cards that week, so it's heavily stacked. Unfortunately, just today we lost the Hamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards fight due to Hamzat having fucking coronavirus, man, and complications with his
Both of
lung.
these fighters have got corona. It's like the MMA gods telling us that yeah, this was a stupid thing to make. This was jumping the gun a bit, maybe.
Man, dude, to be honest, like Chimaev
Steve
is
Rand coming.
no. Chimaev is a monster, man. Like he's a monster, dude. And I think people are just forgetting like what Leon Edwards is capable of because we haven't seen him since 2019, early 2019 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I know it's been over a year and a half.
it's been
I
a
think it was
long
summer of 19. I think, but yeah,
it's been a long time, man. Um, Leon Edwards is legit as fuck. I'm not saying that he would beat Chimaev because I really do think that Hamzat would win that fight. I his wrestling is his wrestling is he's a monster. He's like he's legit. So I want to see that fight. I really do. I hope that they find a replacement for Leon Edwards. Though they're talking about Neil Magny possibly stepping up because he was supposed to fight Chiesa, and Neil Magny would go another 2 rounds. He don't give a shit. You know
yeah,
he doesn't care about what's 2 rounds for Neil Magny.
yeah.
He's
I
done
know
it
that
before.
guy's
He's actually
yeah.
done it before. Just recently, his last fight, right?
Was it? What was his
I,
last?
it was this year. It was this year sometime that he stepped in and he in a main event. I
Let's
know
see
this is
here.
crazy. It might be permanent lung damage for Chimaev. That sucks, man. Like
Oh,
crazy,
really?
crazy, crazy. What has happened to him? You know, it's just wild. What has happened to that guy in 2020? He's had
Everything, yeah.
he's yeah. I mean, he's had a great 2020, and then now it's ending terribly.
Couldn't be perfect. Too good to be true.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. You think about it. Cody Garbrandt had the virus as well,
Hmm.
and he's talked about being like fucked, like sick for months.
Hmm.
He still hasn't recovered from it. And
Yeah.
these are dudes who are in great shape, like fantastic shape.
And lifelong athletes too.
You know,
So,
crazy man, fucking wild.
yep. Sure is. So, That's 2024, but we're saying goodbye. Hopefully, 2021 is better as we're getting ready for it. Just
Well,
a day away.
hopefully, Chell. I don't know if you guys are watching Submission Underground, but Chell was saying that do they scrap that middle card now all of a sudden, or do they
I'd have to look at it.
like, or do they move around fights and put them on the two cards, or do they move on to another card? That's I don't think that they scrap it for one fight. Um, I think all three of these cards are pretty fucking good, to be honest. So they can do move. They can do moving. I'm not sure who's on that Edwards Chimaev fight card, but they can move around and find some kind of main event. I would assume.
Yeah, they'll figure it out, and I'm sure somebody might step up. Why not? Why not just throw Magny in there? If he's willing, why not give him the fight? So,
Put Paul Felder in there. He'll fight anybody.
Paul and Welter.
He'll fight anybody anywhere. He doesn't care.
Yeah. But, all right. As for the final news bit, fresh today, we got one at strawweight today. So,
Yep. Uh, Jinu Fry is going to take on Gloria De Paula on March 16th. This is going to be Fry's third UFC fight. She's
yep.
0-2. So, assuming if she loses this one, back to Invicta.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it after the last loss to Loma, like that it could have been it for Jin, like maybe either being cut or retiring. Like, I guess she hasn't really said too much about retirement that I've seen lately, but like,
Yeah.
just it's such a bummer for her and how things played out, going from one of the best atom weights ever and wanting to at some point be that catalyst for the division in the UFC. Looks like who knows when that's going to happen, but of course her time at the top of it has passed. I mean, she's gone up to strawweight now, but strawweight is not her optimal division as we are seeing. I mean, even against somebody like Loma, who that was an atom weight fight at strawweight.
Yeah.
So, it's like Jin's on the back end. Unfortunately, she just got here a little bit too late, and now she's pretty much being turned into kind of a gatekeeper of sorts because she's being given a newcomer. She's given Gloria De Paula, who is going to be making her debut and looking to make a name off of herself by getting what would be a very nice win to have on her resume against a former
It would be.
champion. So, and it's quite possible too. But yeah, man, it would be one. It would be it would be sad. It would be sad to see Jin go out without at least one UFC win. But that is all too possible at this point. So,
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. She's not exactly looking the best. Um, we haven't seen the best Jin in the UFC. Maybe she turns it around. I don't know. Like, I don't know, because we haven't seen the good Jin. She's had moments of the good Jin, but we haven't seen like a full fight where she's looking her championship level self. And honestly, it's not like her opponents were like that much better than her. They shouldn't have been that much better than
yeah,
her. Um,
especially Hansen,
especially Hansen, right?
just from an experience standpoint, not to
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
case.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and DePaula, she shouldn't be that much better than her, but we'll see.
Yeah. So it's gonna be gonna be interesting. That is for sure. Gloria De Paula, of course, getting her shot through Contender Series as well this year. Fighting, what was it? Last month actually. Was that the
Yeah,
last show maybe, or one of the last shows? Of course.
yeah, I think it was the second to last show.
But either way, got that unanimous decision over Pauline Macias. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm interested in it, but I just want Jin to look at least good. Even if she loses, let's have this fight be really good, like and put some respect back on her name as she tries to go out with some wins because I feel like she cannot be fighting for too much longer at this point. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe she'll surprise us. MMA is crazy. So
Yeah, maybe she'll go fight at atom weight somewhere.
that would be cool. But like we've said though, when she came to the UFC, even like right before that, because she missed weight for the last fight with Cummins,
Yeah,
because she was having the neck issues, which was making her weight cuts harder and everything. So it seemed like the writing was on the wall for her and at atom weight, and it probably still is now. I would think. I think she'll probably finish her career at straw weight,
yeah.
unless her like all those issues are all fixed. Even though she's getting older now and weight cutting probably isn't as easy, but who knows? That's just a hunch. If I had to bet, I would probably bet that she will stay at strawweight. But of course,
I would assume so. I mean, you got to think that she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to do those hard weight cuts anymore.
yeah,
She did them for a long time.
yeah. I mean, maybe she could go to XFC or Invicta's strawweight division. Who knows if she really really wants to keep fighting after whatever potentially happens. But
Yeah, I mean, she hell, she might show up and freaking look good again, and then all of a sudden she's back.
yep, very true. So March 16th for that one. Location to be announced, but we look forward to it. And
Assuming that's back in Vegas.
yeah, yeah, March. I mean, depending on how long they plan on staying out there for this next stretch, we'll see. Nothing really said aside from the first for so many, I think. So we will see. But that is all the news for today as we get rolling along, halfway done with the show already, which is very quick for us. But Submission Underground 20 is happening right now, but I don't know if we can.
Now,
Is this fight happening right now?
yes, it is.
It is this match. I mean,
Pearl Gonzalez and Jillian Robertson are on right now. It just started. They're about 40 seconds in.
okay. Well, then we can get some live Steve play-by-play as we talk about this match rather than previewing it because it's happening already. So
I didn't even see them walk out or anything or get to the cage. I just looked up and saw Jillian's red hair.
there you go.
She's actually on top right now.
It's it's funny that this match was put together kind of super quickly, right? Because
Mm.
Jillian fought. Was that not last? That was last week,
2
right?
weeks ago. Was it last
Yeah,
week? It was super fast.
yeah. And then Pearl, I know that she's been doing some. She was in like Mexico doing some commentary stuff for Icon, right? Which
Yeah.
it seemed like she was doing good. I didn't watch that whole event or anything, but from what I saw, it sounded like she was pretty natural on the microphone and everything.
Yeah, she's always been good I feel on the mic. Her personality really shines.
So yes,
She definitely has a job after she's done fighting
yeah.
with somebody.
So and both of these are flyweights too, so that makes it a bit more of an interesting match here. Depending on how it's going, Steve updates.
Yeah, I
Nothing,
mean,
nothing.
going back on top, they weren't really doing much. A lot of
Jillian, just for her experience on the ground, is would have predicted her going into this matchup if we would have had the time to preview it here. But
yeah, I would have as well. But actually, Pearl Gonzalez was just on Combat Jiu Jitsu.
oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, she was in the tournament. Yeah, she was in the tournament. Well, that was last week too, or whatever.
We turned in last week.
So
Yeah,
they were both just go go go. So props to them for staying busy here to close out a tumultuous 2020 year. So
Jillian just has top control. She's
just doing her thing.
doing her thing. Yeah.
Trying to adjust there. All right. Well, I guess you
No, no,
can.
there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I can just update us when it's over. We'll talk about it more when it's over. But that match is happening, you guys. If you want to double stream um, us as well as watch that match go down, but we'll keep you posted on it either way because Steve is a very good multitasker as well. Um, but all right, let's get to the big one then. Let's just get to it. The preview for tonight's
Rising 26, baby.
UFC. Yes.
9 p.m. our time, West Coast time. It starts. And I think this is the first fight, isn't it?
Kicking off the card, yeah.
Yeah. At a catch weight of 112, Sakura Mori versus Iru Takebashi.
Yep. So this one, I just had to add it on to the lineup here because, of
Yes,
course, we don't really know much about them because I believe Sakura is the one debuting while Takabayashi has her amateur. She has like two or three amateur fights. I should remember this because I just did a show the other day with Chuck. Shout out to him, WMAC now, and he did his homework on these two fighters. So good
Oh,
for
what
him.
happened? Julian's bleeding, and it's over. I didn't. God damn it.
You missed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about the fight.
Yeah, yeah. She's bleeding though.
The bridge of her nose.
Did she
But I
get
think she
hit?
won. Rear
Interesting.
naked choke for. Who was it for? Was it for Pearl or was it for Jillian? It was a real rear naked.
Interesting. I just from hearing the bloody face part, I would imagine Pearl did it.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But
Jillian, rear naked.
wow,
She's bleeding. I wonder if she got like elbowed or something.
interesting.
Damn it, I didn't see it. Shit.
We'll show the replay, I'm sure.
Okay,
All
here's
right,
what
yeah,
we.
Jillian Robertson with the what's that?
No, Chell came on. I thought they were showing the replay.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was regulation, right? That was within.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
at 4 minutes something seconds.
All right, Jillian Robertson with the submission just now, you guys, over Pearl Gonzalez, rear naked choke. No surprise there, but sounded like it got interesting there towards the end from Steve's reactions and updates for us.
Okay, here it is. I want to see how she starts bleeding.
Okay, replay.
So she was on top for most of the match anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then she went to full mount. Oh, they kicked out, and then she took back. She took the back, and she ended up getting the rear naked choke from the back, obviously, but they're not showing like how Jillian got the
Mm-hmm.
blood coming from the bridge of her nose.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank
from the
you.
last fight.
Great benefactor coming in here.
Cut
Thank you,
open
Patrice.
back up from the last fight, guys. Thank
Okay.
you. And then
Right, that makes
Marcel
sense.
just announced that Kay Hansen has a fight. Who is
What
it
is
again?
it, Waleed? What is it? You can't
it
just
again?
leave us.
China fight?
I mean, that would make sense. The timing of their their posts and everything. If that is it, because we knew that they both had fights, right? They both had contracts or whatever signed.
It is. Yes.
Bice versus Hansen. When is
Yes,
it?
dude. March 20th. So same fight card as the Genio Fry.
16th on that one. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
4 days
4 days
apart.
later?
Wow.
Nice.
All right. Well, live news added to the lineup here. Kay Hansen and Cheyenne Buys. That's a very fun matchup. One of those where it sucks that one has to lose. That's kind of shitty, but that's a great matchup, no doubt about it. Yeah, that'll be very fun. I don't know. It's tough. It's kind of tough to pick because I mean, for early predictions and just thinking about it now, Kay Hansen, of course, I think has fought better competition. I don't think that's crazy to say, but has still shown to need some improvements here and there. But even then, going back to that Corey McKenna fight, which we've talked about a couple times now, I think that was a bit of a robbery for Corey McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Hansen definitely clearly won that one, but against somebody like Cheyenne Buys, who very well rounded as well, and shown to be able to pretty comfortable wherever the fight goes in that last fight. Really made a, I don't want to say a name for herself, but she got herself out there pretty well with the victory in Contender Series. Yeah, that'll be a very good fight. I think I have to lean towards Kay though early on here, just because of the experience, the better level of competition that she's faced, and her grappling if she can control pretty well. But Buys is no joke either, it would seem. But a bigger test for Buys than Kay Hansen, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Ice is a beast, though, man.
Yeah.
But so is Kay, obviously.
Oh, and that's interesting.
I know what we said. Hopefully, Kay Hansen wins. She's training with TJ Dillashaw now.
It's a good person to train with, especially for improving your striking. Like, if she needs to work on one thing, that would be a helpful part of it. So, yeah, okay, that's a
hell of a fight, actually.
Yeah, that will be good. Sucks one has to lose, but that's fighting for you. 1-on-1 here, that's what happens.
Yep.
But as for RIZIN 26, of course, as we got interrupted by everything going on, which Happy New Year's to y'all. That's just how it goes. Sakura versus Takabayashi. Just had to mention it here. Don't really have much for us to break down, because there's not much that we've seen from either of these fighters yet. Believe that they're both in high school, and that's kind of the thing that even Saki Gabara pointed out. The high schooler fight. We're doing something a little bit different and special here. And I don't even know if it's gonna be a professional bout. I don't know if it's amateur or not. So that's something of note, and maybe that's why it's being such a special thing and kicking off the night. Why not do it with an amateur bout, which might be the case? I should probably find that out, but it'll be interesting to see. You imagine that both of these girls would like to climb their way to eventually fight at atomweight. This is a catchweight bout. And, well, I guess we should point out, too, that I think it was Sakura who missed weight, actually. The only fighter to miss weight for the card. And people don't usually miss weight for RIZIN. It's one of the few occasions. I think she might be like the fourth person ever to miss weight. And so what happens with that, and now that I'm thinking about it, might mean that this is a professional bout, is she loses 50% of her purse, and then if she wins, it'll be automatically a no contest. So they do not fuck around with the weight misses in RIZIN, and I love that, honestly. So that sucks for her, but she's also, still getting her feet wet in this whole sport and everything. So, is what it is. But yeah, that's something to note. So I guess only Takabayashi can win this fight technically. So yeah, I guess we have to vote Takabayashi as our pick.
What better card than the New Year's Eve card?
Oh yeah,
for them to open up the show. There's going to be a ton of eyes on it no matter what, from all over the world. I mean, RIZIN, especially their New Year's Eve shows, get a ton of hype, a ton of people talking, a ton of people watching. These girls can bang, I mean, they might put on a really good show, and it's kind of shitty for Sakura that she might not get a win if she actually wins. But that's RIZIN. That's literally their role.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big show here. We're not this isn't the regional scene, so of course you got to jump at that opportunity, but you got to know what you're getting yourself into as well. And I'm sure that they're well aware of that. New Year's Eve in Japan, it's the big show. As I said, that's just to put it bluntly. You don't need to really describe it much more than that. So they'll both be fueled by the moment too. So should be a fun bout to kick things off. And you know, to make our picks, we have to take Takabayashi, right? Technically, we technically have to.
Hold on, there's somebody at the door.
All right, I will
Go on.
carry it then. All right, you guys, with Steve answering, somebody interrupting our show, and Gizmo going crazy over there. Can I mute him to make him so we don't hear the barking? As I will wait for him until we move on to the meat and potatoes of the ladies' fights here. Any questions? While we wait, you guys happy to answer whatever you have. And I mean, throw questions at us throughout the show, as is anyways, as we do every single week. RIZIN 26, will you be watching? Why will you not be watching if you're not watching? This is the final MMA event of the year. And of course, I guess the easy answer to why you might not be watching is because the show is very early in the morning because of Japan, depending on where you are living out in this great, big, wide world that we have. But hey, not much else to do or going on these days, unfortunately. But yeah, RIZIN 26, you guys. Waleed, good question. How long will RIZIN 26 be? I do have an answer for this. It will be 6 to 8 hours, 8 hours maximum. I think that this is the government mandate, or not mandate, but you gotta. The train system isn't open 24 hours right now because of you know the virus in Japan closing things down early. So I don't think that this show is not actually gonna end. They're not gonna have the big in-ring New Year's Eve, you know, celebration that they usually do, which is a bummer. But yeah, people have to get home, so the show is only going to be 8 hours max, which means it should end around, well, if it starts at 2 their time, 8 hours around 10, because that's before the trains all shut down and everything. So yeah, 6 to 8 hours is what we're looking at here for the show's time. So I guess 6 at least, and then 8 at max. But it's gonna fly by. I think it'll feel very quickly with all these fights. I mean, their pacing is phenomenal generally.
It's so good. Card is so damn good.
Once the fights get rolling, they are just back to back to back going. With the exception of the intermissions, of course. They save all of the commercial time that you'd get with like a UFC event, and they bundle it up into the intermissions. Which shameless plug, you guys. If you want something to do during the intermissions, Pat O'Jay and I over at the Body Lock will have you covered with the live RIZIN intermission shows, where we will be previewing what's to come and recapping what already happened for the event. So that'll be happening. He and I will be doing that during the intermission 1 or potentially the 2 that we are scheduled for. So check that out, you guys, if you don't want to fall asleep or whatever during those. So so yeah. Moving on. Steve, our official
don't
picks.
Be a casual.
Don't be a casual, you guys. Come on, it's the last MA event of the year. It's the big one. Great card overall. We're taking Takabayashi, right? Just by default.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
mean, just to make sure our picks are right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I guess.
And I believe that she's the one with more experience anyway. So, if I'm remembering correctly, apologies for the lack of research on this one fight, you guys. There's so much to take in, just beyond these 3 women's fights that we have, but we will move on to the big ones like we were about to before.
Takabayashi is 0-0. And Mori is 3-1. Sakura is 3-1.
Okay, I got it backwards then. All right, that makes it even more interesting considering that she missed weight. That is very interesting. Okay, well then by default, who should? I guess it should be a no contest then. Maybe, depending. We'll see.
Contest, yeah.
Yeah, Takabayashi, only 17 years old, says Waleed, and Sakura is under 18 as well, or if not 18, right? I mean, you just pulled it up. Do you have the age there?
Yeah, she's 17.
All right, yeah, see? So we are getting a glimpse, an early look at future MMA. Yeah. So that'll be a fun, interesting way to kick off the show. I mean, this fucking card has it all, you guys. We have a mystery opponent. We have Minoa Man in an open weight fight.
Yeah, what the hell? Well, what's with the mystery opponent?
It's a mystery. What more do you want?
I want to know who the fuck is fighting.
We'll find out. Dude, we're not gonna know who it is until, and
until they
trust
walk
me,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, literally, trust me, you guys. As I'm working closely with RIZIN stuff these days, I tried to find out, but they're keeping it very close to the chest. Like, not that I would have spoiled it, but I
I wonder
did.
if it's
I was
big.
curious.
I wonder if it's a big
It has
fight.
to be, dude. You can't just put somebody that's not a decent name, right? Like I was thinking, I was thinking after Cyborg tweeted that she can't wait to see Rana fight. I was like, no, like, is it gonna be Rana? Which maybe it still could be, even though
There's
they
no
did say
way.
Mr. X. They said
They
Mr.
really
X.
would have. They would have put Ren on the card.
They wanted to. They
I
didn't
know
want
they
to.
would have. No, they would have if she was fighting on this
Oh,
card.
for
They would have
promotionals. Yeah.
made it public that she was on this card. She's way too big of a name
Yeah.
to keep a secret. I mean, there's no way. There's no way it's Rena. There's no way, dude. I will literally fucking bust if Rena is fucking fighting.
It would be pretty nuts because she would win too, probably. Because Shibatar is not really much of a fighter. Sure, he's fought 10 times, but he's a comedic YouTube personality guy, and I think he even admits that he's probably going to get knocked the fuck out by whoever it is. Like he doesn't even know. And like that whole concept of that fight is like it's made for Shibatar to get destroyed against somebody.
That's the
Against
full metal dojo shit,
totally, totally. Uh,
which is fine. It's
yeah,
okay.
which is
I
totally
mean,
fine.
because the first or the card is wonderful as it is. I mean, as long as the whole card isn't a bunch of crazy crap, you know.
Well, no, they're getting out the crazy shit early on
Right.
because Minoa
Yeah.
Man's the second fight. Minoa
Right.
Man's the
Yeah.
second fight, which is
Right.
pretty nuts. And then
And then
Shibatar's not right after, is he?
and it gets real after that. Yeah. Um.
Shibatar might be the one after the one after. So the fourth fight, I
So
think, is
so
Shibatar.
Kana Asakura and Shimizu, I are the fourth fight, the fifth fight.
Uh,
1, 2, 3, fifth fight.
Here, let me pull up the thing too. Um. Okay, so yes, yes, yeah. Kana and I is the fifth
The fifth
fight.
fight, right?
And then Shibatar will be right before that, which is after Kuramoto and Nakahara, which comes after Minwa.
Right.
So yeah, see, getting them, getting those two out early, and then the nonsense finishes off a couple fights later with Gomi versus Koji. That one's pretty silly as well, but should be very entertaining for what it is. Um, but
But honestly, when is Ryzen not entertaining?
yeah, fantastic point. No matter what's happening, so.
It's literally always entertaining. So
Yeah, this card has it all, you guys.
yeah,
But as we mentioned just there, very pivotal fight in what I consider the number one contender fight.
yeah. Kana Asakura and I Shimizu. That's the at super atom weight. 108 pounds, as you can see down on the ticker there. And this is the fifth fight, which is pretty crazy because I mean the winner, like you said, could be fighting for a title after
Has
fifth.
to.
I,
Like nothing else makes sense, I don't think. I mean, unless they would give it to Rena instead, but of course, we've talked about the Hamasaki thing, which is my prediction sort of for the year. Or it would be more likely to do a Rena and Miyu rematch, of course, which would
yeah,
be a lot more interesting this time around because you got to remember Miyu made her debut against Rena, which was pretty fucking. That's a tough debut to make, and we saw that was the case, and she's gotten leaps and bounds better. So Reyna versus, actually that would be fine either way with that. But just this fight, okay, you got to look at it. Kana Sakura arguably should have gotten a title shot next, but then you look at it like her last loss did come to Miyu despite being on a three fight. Was it 3 or 2? She's on a 3 fight winning streak at the moment. Yeah, it's 3. And her only losses, Kana's last losses in so many years, I don't remember the exact number, but in her last like 8, 9, 10 fights or whatever, has been to the women in the title fight that we will talk about next. Yeah, you could very easily say that she deserved the title shot instead of Miyu, but Miyu versus Hamasaki, very fresh matchup. Not mad at that at all. And then 5-0 undefeated, much more of a prospect in prospect status, experience wise, than Kana at this point, despite the age difference. Kana has established herself as an elite of the atomweight division. Just
Yeah, for sure.
phenomenal how good she is. At 23 years old and 21 fights, 17-4 record. But if 5-0, if she beats Kana, I mean, it's Kana. Like, how do you not give her the? Sure, she might be lacking in super big wins, but that's a huge one. That catapults her right up the rankings into the top 5 automatically. And by knocking off Kana, who could have arguably got that title shot, how do you not give it to I mean, unless you want to go with the Rana route, like I said, but it would be a star-making win for Like, think about this is like the equivalent of Kana versus Rana when Kana launched herself into a new stratosphere of superstardom. I could do that in this fight, right?
Yeah, I agree. Not that, I mean, she's like we were talking about prospects and age and stuff like that earlier. She's 31. She's still very young in her MMA career. Only 5 fights. She's and with Asakura as her 6th fight in MMA. This is a huge step up, massive step up.
Yeah.
If she can pull off this win, man, I don't see how they don't give her the title shot, unless, of course, Rena steps in and fights for the title, which I hope happens. I mean, that's what I really want to happen. We've talked about this before. That's what both of us want to happen. But yeah, if she wins, then shit. Give her the shot, I guess.
Yeah, man. That's like, some echo right there. We good? Yeah, it's it seems like a no-brainer to me, and especially when you have these fights on the same card, like it's like make it feel like an unofficial tournament kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of to set itself up perfectly, and on the biggest stage where the most viewers are going to be watching and all that, like it just makes too much sense. And it's not like is not a marketable personality or, just marketable in general, if we want to go down that road, as you commented earlier in the week. Just, yeah, a very interesting individual. And, I did speak to both of them. Shameless plug before the fight here on Broad Horizon episode 6. Check that out if you have not yet. And, she's just insanely focused and aware of the situation that she's in, where, she believes that she's in this spot on New Year's Eve because of Kana and her name. Like, it's not about her. She realizes she's the underdog. She believes that Kana is better than her everywhere. It's like very interesting, the mentality she has, and she's so fueled by this moment of being this underdog against a superstar, despite having an incredible wrestling background of her own. These are both lifelong wrestlers with their backgrounds and all that. But of course, MMA experience, it's not even close at the moment. Like, on paper, we have to pick Kana, and I believe picking Kana in this fight because of that. But I definitely has the potential to pull this off. These are the 2 best ground and pound fighters in the atomweight class, and I argue they might be the 2 best among all women if you think about it. I mean, maybe not all. I mean, Tatiana Suarez is in there too, of course, but they're up there. They both have very vicious ground and pound.
I think in the atomweight division for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nobody beats female Habib.
Yeah, but they're definitely worth the mention overall, I would say. So, great wrestlers. I think that we should. Okay, this is one of those cases, Steve, where hopefully we see some awesome wrestling, scrambling exchanges, some ground and pound, and maybe it'll cancel out and we'll get a striking war like Jandaroba, Dern, Colby, and Usman.
No,
hopefully not. But
don't do it, man. Like,
I have to throw it out there.
it really breaks my heart. Like, it hurts me. when we don't see wrestling, and when we don't see when it turns into a striking war. Not that I hate striking.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm all about the violence. You know, I'm a violence guy. You know, but when there are fighters who are good at wrestling or jujitsu ground game,
Yeah.
I
Whatever
want
it
to
is.
see it. I want to see that. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully we see it with these two. But
I think it's more likely to happen because of the ring, right? If they were in the cage, maybe our odds would be a little bit worse, right?
yeah, yeah, the ring will probably help.
Yeah. So very excited for that one. I think it's going to be I don't know about the sneaky pick for a fight of the night, but I mean there's just so many options on this card
Yeah,
that
this card is so
that's
damn good. It's really hard to say what fight is going to be a fight of the night, you know, because it's so damn good. This whole card.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, but in the end, as I said, I got to take Kana just based off of everything we've seen. I like Ai's chances for the upset here. If we're gonna look at all the potential upsets on the card, I think she's probably higher on my list. But Kana's just she's just Kana, and she's getting better and better, which is a scary thought. I feel like I say that every time we talk about her, but she's just improving at a ridiculous rate and pace. At this rate, she could go down as one of the greatest atom weight of all time if she keeps this up and continues to evolve because she's already so good as is. But Kana for me, I think decision. I think it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I agree. Kana will probably win, but again, I just
Something about her.
yeah. I mean, like you said, there's a whole lot of marketability with her. So, but not only that, she's actually a good fighter. So uh, you can't just say she's marketable and leave it at that. She's actually a really good fighter.
It's probably also important to note too that her last win was her biggest against Andy Wynn, the
Yeah,
creation, right in
yeah.
Bellator. Um, that was a split decision, which I don't know if I really agree with split decision. I thought it was pretty clear for her. But either way, that was her biggest win in terms of a name and everything like that. And she went into that fight with surgery scheduled, and she wouldn't tell me the specifics of her injury and everything because, of course, game plan strategy. I totally respect that. Not gonna force that out of you, but she that's why she was off for pretty much this entire year is because she was recovering for 6 months or whatever. So I would imagine a pretty big and serious surgery. So just the fact that she will be better and recovered and improved now physically and be more healthy, that's something to think about if she was still able to go into that fight against a total veteran and win like she normally does. Geez, maybe she'll be even better because she's feeling even better. So that's just something to look out for. But as I said, it's still just from what we've seen, it's hard to go against Kana here. So
Yeah.
look forward to it.
I mean, yeah, it's Kana Sakura. We can't really go against her unless if it's one of the bigger names like Rena.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, even then, we've seen her pull those off.
right? But again, I don't really pick against Rena, which is kind of a downfall for me. Um, I don't think I've ever picked against her. Literally, never picked against her.
I mean, it's reasonable, really. I mean, her only losses are to Kana and then the Lindsey Van Zant one, which at the times of all those fights, reasonable choices.
She shouldn't have lost to Lindsey Van Zant.
Yeah, I mean, she made up for it in the rematch, right? So we saw the right was
She
the
did.
wrong was
The
righted.
wrong was righted.
Nothing
Like,
against Lindsay though. I really do like Lindsay and everything,
no,
but
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. But like, she's not Rena. You know, she's not Rena.
not many are. So, all
No,
right.
no, not many are.
That is the super atom weight. I'm going to call it the title contender because I think that should be the number one contender bout. But alas, we move on
Oh,
to the title itself. Everybody,
oh, Ayaka Hamasaki and Miyu Yamamoto for the vacant super atomweight title. Um, man, what a good fight. Again, I wish it was Rena fighting, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with watching these two fight each other.
The goat
And we might
versus
see
the ageless
wrestling.
wonder.
We might see wrestling in this fight.
Oh well, this one's a guarantee with Miyu. A Miyu fight is wrestling, and the finest form of wrestling that you will see.
Yes, it is beautiful wrestling. She
And
has that. She has that technique down.
I mean, she's been doing it for goddamn 40 years, right? And
I
just
can imagine
the
it.
way she mixes in her knees on the ground, which is you gotta love about RIZIN. You gotta love the rule set for fighters like Miyu.
Dude, that's a game changer. Are those knees that she throws on the ground? I mean, that's if she gets Hamasaki down, she can fucking end it like
And
that fast.
that's what she's gonna need to do. That is
Very
absolutely what she's gonna need to do. But then the problem there is like, Ayaka very, very dangerous with her submissions. So
yeah,
it's like that's what makes it the most exciting, is when this fight hits the ground, ultimately, who no matter who it's for, whether it's Ayaka sprawling on a Miyu takedown, which is very possible and probably will happen at least once, and then could lead to some Ayaka knees in defense, right? That's very possible too. She could turn and go for submissions. Like this fight can go really all over the place with like the things that we could see. I don't know how much of a striking war Miyu will want to get into because Ayaka's striking has
yeah,
improved tremendously towards this
looks really
later half of her career.
good. Hmm.
And that's kind of the funny thing and interesting thing too, that Chuck and I were talking about yesterday about Ayaka is like she's one of those fighters where she's never made those massive improvement leaps from fight to the next fight. Like even when she was champion in Invicta, like where you saw this amazing performance and then the next one it was significantly better, but she's just improved little by little until we're seeing now like wow, you look at the plateau kind of which slowly started turning into this upward crazy hill of man, she's really gotten she was already amazing. She's all that much better now. And in my books, the greatest heavyweight of all time, one of the most underappreciated fighters, period. And still just looking absolutely brilliant at 38 years old. And of course, when we're going to talk about age, you have to talk about Miyu being 46 and one of the greatest fighters in the world right now as well. It's just
It's crazy that
absolutely
these
insane.
two are kind of old, but
Yeah,
still
tip top.
going. Yeah, they're still going hard.
It's something, man. It's wild. It's kind of inspiring. Makes you want to get out and be active yourself.
And to be honest, Yamamoto does not look anywhere close to
To 50, to almost
46 or
50.
whatever. Yeah, like she does not look anything close to that age. She is she is very trying to be respectful, and she's like mom age,
And she's literally a grandma.
Yeah, she's literally a grandma.
The baddest ass grandma on the planet. I don't think there's any debate about that. And especially if she wins the title. Goodness, man, like that's one of the best stories. That is one of
Well,
the best stories in MMA
so when
history.
when this fight was made, we had talked about if she wins, is this it? Does she go out as champion and call it a career? I mean, she is almost 50.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so because I talked to her. Shameless plug again. She was on Broad Horizon episode 6. I talked to her and I pretty much asked her the same thing because I was like, "What a perfect way to end it, right?" Like, like you don't. You've competed in combat sports of some kind your entire life. You really don't need to do this anymore. That would be the ultimate icing, beating the greatest fighter you possibly could, outside of like Sohee Ham, who you did already fight and everything. But
Yeah.
Ayaka, people like myself argue that she's the best overall of all time. What a way to cap it off, and especially like imagine because her husband is fighting on this also on this card. So if they were to both win, like that is just so storybook. That's a movie,
Go
write
out,
this
go
script.
out and retire together.
Yeah,
Her retire as champ.
yeah, and I mean, he's got his work cut out. That would be a massive upset if he can do that too. So, that's gonna be nuts to see. But yeah, I didn't get the sense though. She was like, until I feel like just gonna keep going until I feel like I can't anymore,
I don't
despite
know.
her age.
Fighters never fighters never really give us that I'm gonna retire after this one. Like
Yeah,
we don't really get that out
that's
of
true.
from fighters. We get that from baseball players and basketball players. Like this is it. This is it. This is my going away party. We don't get that from fighters very often. We end up seeing them literally drop the gloves in the cage and call it a career at that very moment. It's
Yeah.
like it's like it hits them right then, and that's what it is. Like Habib. We just literally just saw Habib, one of the best fighters ever, and then break down crying in the middle of the cage. A lot of emotion because of a lot of different reasons. But is he retired or isn't he? Could be the same with Yamamoto. She might just be like, okay, this is it. Especially if she gets that strap around her waist.
I mean, I think that because what we can't deny though is that she has made it sound very clear that she actually values beating Ayaka more than getting the title
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Like, which that's understandable. That's totally understandable. So yeah, by beating Ayaka plus becoming champion, it really it really adds up.
Her title's huge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Or does she stick around to fight Rena?
yeah, yeah. See, there's that. Like, that's the thing, though, is because I think that she is one of those people, one of those competitors who, first of all, fountain of youth, obviously. But if she's not gonna be one to go off of a win because if she knows she can still win, why should I stop? Kind of thing, right? Which that's always a good argument I think to make, depending on who you are, I suppose. But yeah, she was saying like maybe once I notice that in training I'm, having trouble or like struggling more in training is when I'll realize that I should stop doing this. But maybe I'll fight till I'm 60, which who knows? Who knows if anyone's gonna it would be her.
I mean, she's
So
in great shape. She's in phenomenal shape.
yeah,
So I mean, I wouldn't be crazy surprised if she keeps fighting and she goes another 5 years or whatever. I don't see her going 10 more years or if that 60 years old. I mean, how old is she now? 46 or
46.
48?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
six.
fucking 14 more years. That's fucking wild. That would
Yeah,
be.
but that's the mentality she has, though, right? Is like it's crazy, man. But
She's gonna be fighting along her grandkids.
yeah, yeah, very well. But man, in the end, I love both of them so much. Like I would, it's a total another one where I hate to see either of them lose. But just picking off of everything, it's hard to go against Ayaka. I think she just has more ways to win. Despite the incredible career she's already had, the Hall of Fame career and everything,
Yeah.
looking better than ever, despite her aging as well. So she just essentially it just comes down to her having more ways to win than Miyu. Unless Miyu has really, really refined her striking and wants to mix things up, which would be a good idea, probably to keep Ayaka guessing and everything. But we all know that the strong wrestling is her path to victory here, and that then opens things up for Ayaka because Ayaka is good literally everywhere. So I have to go Hamasaki, and I think she'll probably find a submission. I'm gonna say in the third round.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the grandma on this one. Um,
Ooh, I
I
like it.
I just think that she's really found a way to win fights. Like she's a grinder and she's just gonna grind all over Hamasaki. That's what she's gonna do. That's her style of fight, and I know Hamasaki, like she's one of the best atom weights ever, if not the best atom weight ever. But I think that wrestling pedigree just comes into play for for Yamamoto. I'm not picking Yamamoto because I want I want her to get that story. I'm picking Yamamoto because I truly do feel like she can win this fight.
I mean, she can. She totally can. It's not crazy to think, and like she wouldn't be the biggest upset of the card, as I kind of mentioned that. I mean, I think Kyle, her husband, winning against Koike, the former KSW champion, is a bigger upset for sure. But yeah, no, it just seems it's more of a thing where the paths to victory are just more limited for me. And of
Yeah,
course, Miyu's is very hers is very strong if she can get it into that go down that path. But I just have to go with the variety for me. But yeah, I totally I could see Miyu winning too. But that's how I'm looking at it. That's why we got predictions to make.
yeah. I mean, we typically don't split, especially title fights, right? Like we don't
Yeah,
split title fights usually.
but that
Um,
shows you how good this one is.
yeah, yeah. It's a really good fight. And then I really do want to see Yamamoto fight Rena too.
Yeah, that'd be a fun rematch.
Yeah, I really do want to see them fight again.
You don't want to see Ayaka Reina though. That
No, I mean,
story.
of course I do want to see Ayaka and Rena fight. Of course I do, but
More likely, it would be the Miyu rematch.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think that would be the more likely scenario. So, and I want to see Rena go out as a champion.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It
mean,
kind of sucks that it would be against Yamamoto, but I mean that's what it would be for my heart.
yeah, I think if she gets a title fight, that will 100% be her retirement fight, no matter who it's against.
Yeah,
We've already talked about that. The possibility of Rena's 2021 being her last year, we've talked about that plenty so far. So
that's heartbreaking. Like that's heartbreaking. That's one of the.
it's
That's
kind of
one of the.
a what could have been thing, right? Just because
Yeah,
of the losses. And if she would have beat Kana, she totally would have. We would have seen her fight. I mean, I probably would have seen Ayaka fight. I mean, right? Because I know it wouldn't have been those special circumstances, but for the title, depending on the competitive spirits and all that, it's how things played out. It could have happened already, depending on certain results, right? So
yeah,
who knows?
probably. Yeah, probably.
Who
I agree.
knows?
But I mean, either way, I think Rena probably gets the winner of this fight. Either way,
You think she'll take it over Kana if she wins?
I mean, yeah, I mean, she's the bigger draw. She's the bigger name. And Rising goes big. They really Rising really does love Rena. They they really do. They want the best for her. So the best would be a title fight, and then see if she can get the title and maybe either call it a career or take a couple more fights through 2021 and then close out her career next year at this time.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that ideally you'd have Rena retiring on a New Year's Eve show. Ideally.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that she's not on this card, man.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, who they were trying to match her up with, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I guess yeah, it would have been kind of hard thinking about how they could only pick from Japanese fighters right now and who
Hmm.
she's fought or fought and beat already, kind of thing. I bet it would have been cool to somebody like Emi Fujino, who's a total pioneer of the women and everything. But I think she had surgery earlier this year, recently. So maybe that could have been somebody who has yet to fight in Ryzen and would have been kind of surprising she hasn't fought in Ryzen yet. But that would have been a cool person to see fight Rena. Maybe it could still happen at some point. But yeah, I think Fujino did have a knee surgery recently. So that could have been what changed things up. That is total my speculation. I have no idea if they were thinking about Fujino, but that's an option that came to mind that's new and everything. So, but in the end, Steve and I split on the title fight, which is very exciting. Can't wait to see how that plays out. And then, of course, we both got Kana. And for the high schoolers, it's probably going to be a no contest. Most likely, we'll see. But
Yeah, we just don't know enough about them really.
yeah, but can't wait to find out. So
And they open up the
that,
card, so I mean
yeah,
that'll be fun. You know,
definitely. So
couple of kids going out there and throwing down.
from detention to the ring, principal's office to the boxing ring. And let's give a shout out to Stamina, who came in late here. London calling over there, buddy, from the sick bed.
Hopefully
Hope
you're
you're
okay,
okay.
man.
Yeah, you didn't get the Rona, did you?
Hope
Ugh,
not.
but he
And
still showed up.
he did say and new.
Old and new, yeah.
He said and new. There's gonna be an and new. All right.
But, yep. All right.
So
So
the awards.
the awards as we get
Okay.
wrapping up here.
I apparently you can't see this. I wrote it out. We have the WMMA Today 2020 awards, which we will be doing in a couple weeks.
Should we do it next week? Kick things off for 2021? Do it next week?
We can. We can do it next week. We can do the award show next
All
week.
right. All right. Heard it here first, folks.
So the fighter of the year, obviously. Fight of the year, obviously. I mean, these are just normal award show.
Must do's.
Yeah. Breakout fighter of the year, knockout of the year, submission of the year, and then there's the Steve's most marketable fighter of the year. I did do a poll. I listed Tracy Cortez, Valerie Lareda, Paige Van Zant, and then other, and I wanted people to comment. I got a lot of Amanda Hebus on there as well. Valerie Lareda ended up taking the poll. It was over 300 something people. She was at like 42%, I think. So is she going to be Steve's most marketable fighter of the year? I don't know.
I mean, the people voted. Gonna let them down.
I'm just throwing it out there. But I think I'm going to do another poll. So if we're going to do it next week, next Wednesday, I'm going to do another poll over the weekend, maybe, with
No fights.
Lareda, Cortez, and Hebus, and see what
She got the most mentions.
She definitely got the most mentions. Yes, Paige Van Zandt actually got a lot of votes too.
Yeah, I mean the OG marketable girl, at least in the last decade.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that, and then if you guys have any kind of other awards that you think might fit in with our award show, remember we are a women's MMA podcast. Media member, I don't know, media member, female media member, something like that. I don't know. If you guys have any drop them in this comment while we're on, or you can always hit Drake and I up on the Twitter machine. We're always available. We like to talk about fights, no matter what kind of fights they are, but especially women's MMA. So yeah, hit us up if you have any kind of awards that you think that we should do.
Good to see you, sir, whose name we cannot pronounce, but yes. No Ren Hiramoto here, but excited for his fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not Ren Hiramoto.
That fight, though, boy.
They're like, Drake, you need a Japanese person on here. It's RIZIN night. What's this? Dude, what's this other guy doing here?
I know. What have I done? Well, it's coming up, you guys. So, yeah, get hyped up. Hope we helped. Have the free link to the RIZIN fight. No such thing, sir. We are not about that.
Do we do streaming in these parts?
Do we do streaming in these parts? I
Are
don't
we
know.
pirates?
Are we? But yeah, you guys. So look forward to that. Yes, yes, they will be fun ones. Waleed, for sure. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Steve, you got anything to plug
Yeah,
here as we
yeah. I'm
go?
actually working on an article for the first time in
Ooh,
months.
very nice.
Yeah, it is about the UFC champions who will not be champions in 2022.
Good choice.
What what UFC champions will lose in 2021 at some point?
All right, looking forward to that, as all of you should as well. And yeah, so as for me, you
Yeah,
guys,
Horizons that you can watch prior to
yep,
watching Ryzen tonight.
yep, binge watch all Broaden Horizons. We got 6 episodes, so that's I pretty much 6 hours for the most part. That's 6 hours of content for you. 24 guests, plenty of them who are competing tonight.
One
A
on
lot.
every show, at least, right?
Let's
You've had
see. I
one
mean,
on every show, I think.
yeah, Kaya Sakura, Ayaka Hamasaki, Naoki Inoue. That is all just episode one right there.
Yeah,
Kana, Miyu, Kyle was with Miyu also. Minoa Man. I talked to Minoa Man. That one's awesome. Check that one out. Let's see.
that one was fun.
Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people. So many I can't even remember them all. But oh, even Kenta Tagizawa, Horiguchi too. I got him coming back. Yeah, most people who are fighting actually. So yeah, very cool. And even Rena, who we met, she's not fighting, but still,
Yeah.
she's on there as well. And the boss man, Saki Gabara.
Yep.
And no, I will answer that question for
Yeah,
you,
Krokop is
Kyrie.
not the Ryzen heavyweight champion right
They've
now.
never had a heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
He won the tournament, is what he
mhm.
did back. Is what you're thinking of. So
Yeah, that was what 3 years ago.
I want to say, yeah, I think it was 17. I think that's a good guess there.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. But they don't do heavyweight champions for whatever reason. They only did that one tournament.
Yeah, it's just a depth thing. Gotta, especially right now, it's not really a thing that they can do. But I will say that is one of the coolest titles that there has ever been. That that Cy Games belt that he won
Oh, dude, it's
was
sick.
awesome, and
Yeah,
it's the only one in the world. And what better person to have it? So
Krokop, he's amazing, man.
yeah, so yes,
Well,
of course, binge watch
violent.
all. Yes, very much so. Binge watch all the Broaden Horizons if you would like. You guys, you can find that on my channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. All audio versions, Japanese for Japanese viewers coming in here. We have Japanese versions on mymanews.com under the podcast section. Broaden Horizon, of course, you can find it all there. I can put these in the comments if you would like to. And then right after this, actually, I will be jumping on another stream. I got to do guesting on SCMP MMA's YouTube channel with John Yunko and Tom Taylor and Nick Atkin. Going to be talking about plenty of MMA things, of course, previewing Ryzen 26 there as well. And then later on tonight, as I mentioned earlier in the show, the Ryzen 26 intermission shows. During the intermissions, Pat OJ and I at the Body Locks YouTube channel will have, recaps and previews of what's all happening on the card as it's happening in between the breaks, right? That's why it's the intermission show. Very fun. Come check that out if you guys are bored once we get our little breaks during the evening. And yeah, that is what we got going on. And don't forget to follow us, like, share, subscribe. Steve K _MMA at Drake Riggs _ at the Scrap News. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're on and all that stuff. And Happy New Year, you guys. We made it through 2020, Steve. We did it,
We
man.
made it. We
30
made it.
episodes back this year. Can you believe it? It's 30 weeks. 30
Pretty
weeks.
crazy, man. Pretty crazy that we had talked about doing this last year at some point.
Yeah.
I brought it up to you. I was like, let's get it going again
I
at
know,
some
right?
point. And then we ended up doing it. And now it's a live show, which is even better. It's a better version.
It's been a lot of fun this stretch. I mean, it was always fun, doing it the way we did it in our past incarnations. But this has been a really fun one this year.
It's a lot better doing a live show with people we've made friends.
Yeah.
Stamina is here weekly with us. He's sick this week. He's typically all over the comment section.
And we are
Uh,
earlier for him. Earlier
a
episode.
couple, for a couple hours earlier, yes. But it's awesome, getting people coming in on a weekly basis and stuff like that, becoming friends, basically friends of the show.
Totally.
Just a couple of dudes talking women's MMA, man.
It is awesome. It's been a fun ride overall, and a bright spot the show has been for the crazy year that we've had. At least I would say for me, something fun to do every week, and continue to
Yeah.
do going forward. So always
Mhm.
good. So yeah, you guys, next week, I don't think we'll have any crazy side things for Wednesday, so we should be back at our normal time, I would imagine. Maybe, yeah, yeah, no, it should be 6:30 unless I have to adjust some things on my end or your end. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I think we can close it out for 2020, my man. So
Yep.
take
All
it
right.
away.
So thank you to everybody who joined in this week. Smack a Lady, Waleed, Code, Mayday, the Great Benefactor, Stamina, of course.
Our Japanese friends.
Japanese friends, I can't say your names because I don't know Japanese. I'm sorry. Um, and then Kyrie at the very end, uh,
Waleed.
and Waleed was here as well. Yes, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a great new year. Stay safe, stay sane. Have fun watching RIZIN tonight.
Yeah. Peace.
And new.